Hey everybody, welcome. We are about to see a game of Star Wars CCG. This is the EuroCup Finals, a team event with 3 people on a team, and they are matched up based on what style of decks they have. This is a Jawa match. There was 3 different formats in this event, and this one is the Jawa format. And what that means is there are certain decks that are banned. The most commonly played popular decks are banned, so you have to kind of go to some more obscure decks. Makes it a little more interesting, definitely a very different meta. And what's banned in the Jawa format right now for light side is Throne Room, Echo Base Operations, No Idea, Legend, Hitco, and Diplo. And what is banned for the dark side is Black Sun, Court, Hunt Down, ISB, Entanglements, and WHAP. So we see here Silverglen, the light side player at the bottom of your screen, has opted to play WHAP. Recently, Echo Base Trooper Adam Fletcher posted his WHAP, Jedi Business WHAP, on the forums, and it was a very cool looking deck. And I'm wondering if Silverglen's deck choice here was influenced by that. Meanwhile, for Alex, the dark side player at the top of your screen, he is doing a slip sliding away starting the Hoth Ice Plains, a Cloud City exterior site that vehicles can go to. Arrest order code clearance, which indicates he's going to be having a lot of ability 3 Imperials, Piet and Tarkin and all those random guys, Krennic and stuff, in order to make them all boosted forfeit. And his third effect is you may start your landing, which will let him pull the third marker, the defensive perimeter, which is a drain of 2. And if he has a walker there, you may start your landing will ping for 1. Interesting. It looks like he's kind of locked into these. He could have opted, if he has Decree in the deck, for Imperial Decree, but he didn't go for that. I think if I'm just choosing a favorite in this, WHAP I think is a clear favorite for this match because Darkside is indicating they have a lot of vehicles. They might have some other stuff as well. They might have some mauls and things like that, but I think overall it's going to be hard for Darkside to contest the throne room, meaning Lightside will get to go in there and flip and start doing direct damage and canceling Darkside's destinies and just battling really efficiently. Darkside's sort of best hope is to take the third marker and ping, and then take the courtyard and try and out damage WHAP. So, and that might be difficult, especially if they don't find Decree. So Darkside pulls a docking bay with Arrest Order, plays Imperial Enforcement from hand, and plays an Accelerate to pull out the bridge. And they go ahead and play that defensive perimeter. Everyone's going to get plenty of force. Dark is at 12, light is at 9, but light on the front side of his objective also activates 1 per turn. So that 9 is essentially 11 until light flips. Dark will get an extra icon when light side flips at the hallway. I wouldn't be surprised if I could. Silverglen plays Goldenrod so that Alex can't just play Blizzard 4 and a free Imperial. Imperial would cost 2. I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised to see Blizzard 4 and an Imperial, and that's what made me notice the Goldenrod pull. Otherwise, I could see Alex just drawing 5, saving 2, going to 12, or even drawing like 3, going to 10, and saving 4, and just having 16 force next turn to do stuff with. Of course, Silverglen is going to want to put guys to the courtyard and move into the hallway where there's no dark side icon. They're safe unless Dark has a spy, or Presence of the Force doesn't even work because it cancels their force icons there. So Dark would need a spy to get there, and then Light can the following turn Ascension Guns in and flip their objective into the throne room, assuming Dark hasn't deployed there. So we're going to see that for the first few turns, and then we'll probably see some Jedi and lightsabers come out. Yeah, Alex does just opt to draw a few. We'll see how much he saves. Saves 4, draws to 10, saves 4. So Light activates 9 and uses the objective to activate 1 more. Indicates he's not going to be doing any pulling this turn, otherwise you would wait to activate that extra 1. And he's got the Amidala, which is nice for him. He's got the 2-0 in hand. Normally, I think you use the We'll Take the Long Way to upload the system, and then the system can pull the site, but he just has a site directly. He doesn't have to pay 1 for the system. Yeah, and it looks like Silverglen took Camino and Panaka into hand with We'll Take the Long Way. So he already had the Amidala in hand. He did pull the system to get that 0 out, and in case he wants to go to space at some point. But for now, he's happy just playing the 2-0 and not giving up 2 more icons to Darkside. One interesting thing to note about Alex's choice of slip sliding away is that there's no Hoth system on table. A lot of times you see a deck like this start Hoth and play careful planning or not combat response. It's CR. It's the Darkside careful planning combat readiness. Combat readiness to play the 5th marker and all these 3 same effects. What essentially this did by swapping the starting interrupts, is instead of Hoth system on table, there's a Cloud City set on table. That indicates to me that Darkside probably doesn't have a ton of space. They thought that Hoth system was a liability and would rather have a site there. That means Dark is probably going to be paying for drains. And Light, who we know is playing that Malistaire system, Light will probably feel a little bit safer in space, especially once they flip and can cancel Destinies up in space. But if I'm Silverglen, I think I'm happy to see slip sliding away, because you just don't care about this Cloud City site. And if the Hoth system was on location, on table, like, great, maybe you take it over, whatever, but it indicates he has more space. And the fact that he didn't play the Hoth system indicates he has less space, which is good for Silverglen. So Darkside plays down to the throne room, plays Callus. She will not be able to add a Destiny because there's no ISB agents on table without the objective. But Tarkin will be able to add 1 because he's with a leader, and he'll be able to redraw anything less than 3. And Thrawn acts as a general on the ground. I would imagine there are leaderships. I'm way off today. Switching Light and Dark Imperial commands in the deck, which will let him either add another Destiny or cap light side to 1 Destiny. So here, I think we're going to see some Jedi and lightsabers come down. Because of that code clearance, Callus is forfeit 9, Tarkin's a 9, and then Thrawn's just his normal 7. So tons of forfeit, but if light side gets some sabers and just starts hitting people, I don't anticipate a lot of weapons in this dark deck. Maybe, like I said, a Maul, and that would be about it. Actually, no Maul because domination, so maybe EPP Mara. Unlikely Vader's EPP, but possible. I guess, especially with less space, you're not going to have Space Vader. You could have Choke Vader. So Dark, I think, knows he's in a bad spot if he just lets WHAP flip for free, so he goes down with, a bunch of guys, but these guys are not going to be able to contest these guys. I think his best hope is trying to get a bunch of Destiny, Tarkin adding 1, and then maybe using command to add 1 and trying to clear out a bunch of stuff, unless light side plays Janus Jarek. That's like the Elsic that he can forfeit when with Amidala to cover all battle damage and attrition. But we don't see that card yet. CO Bibble's going to give some more force generation and make all the other Republic guys power +1, which is pretty huge when you've got 4 of them. Captain Rex is going to have a weapon to shoot, and he'll add a Battle Destiny. And Commander Cody will be able to, with Rex, cancel a Battle Destiny. So Light's getting 2 Destiny and canceling 1. Dark's getting 2 Destiny right now, and Light has a weapon, and Light has more power. So Dark was in a very tough spot. I think, I'm imagining we'll just see CO Bibble die. And he's shooting a Gram off Tarkin. If he has, sorry about the mess combo, Dark might not even get the 2 Destinies. Yeah. Kieran says, I would never go to the throne room with that dark side. I mean, I agree. I think you're nowhere near equipped to fight. The light side, clearly a bunch of their deck is geared towards taking this site with Jedi and stuff, and you are not geared towards taking a site like with no walkers, with just guys. So we see the Lana combo, which will save his 9 forfeit unless there's a sorry combo to immediately kill him. And it looks like there is not. Oh, yep, there it is. It just took a second. So he does sorry combo. Maybe there will be an imbalance to cancel it. A very commonly played counter. Dark is thinking about grabbing, I guess, but does not. So yeah, that'll leave Dark just with 1 destiny. Yeah, I don't think Dark can take this throne room, like you said, Kieran. Plays command to probably cap to 1. No, he did it to add 1. I might have capped, so then you only lose 1 character and then you can come back. If you're adding 1, you're at best clearing 2 characters, but I don't know. But you're in a bad spot because the matchup is so bad. If you don't go to the throne room and you just let them flip for free, and then you're going to, try and do 3 damage at the defensive perimeter, they're going to go up to their Camino location system, drain 2 there, drain 1 to 2 at the sites, depending if they have sabers, ping for somewhere between 2 to 4, 1 to 4, depending on if you have decree and how many locations you can be at. And Light's just going to massively outpower and be able to battle and cancel all your battle destinies that are greater than 3. It's bad either way. Going to the throne room's bad. Not going to the throne room's bad. It's a tough match. So Light draws a total of 9, which Callus will cover. And Dark draws a 3, which he's thinking about redrawing with Enforcement. I think you should. Tarkin's a really good one to have in hand, especially if one of these leaders is left. Yeah. It'll be a bummer if he draws an Imperial that's a 1 right here, but Tarkin's good to have in hand. That's good. A 6, which Cody cancels. That's why he chose to add a Destiny, so he could at least get some attrition through and kill somebody. Oh, but he doesn't. He draws the Ozzel. That's awful. And he already used the Dominant Enforcement redraw. That is tough. He's going to lose the whole site and have to peel 4, and Light loses nothing and flips. This is going to be a runaway slaughter. And the problem is, Alex says, that's not a good start. He loses Garrison from hand, Darth Vader V from reserve deck. So he does have Space Vader, so he's having some space, an Accelerate, and a Gick off a reserve deck. The problem, one other thing coming into play is Bastion won his first match, and he won both games. So he got 2 points for his team. And he won by a ton of differential because his opponent conceded the second game. So if we go to a 3-3 tie, each game in the series, there's 6 games, 3 different players playing a match play of 2 games. So 6 games total, 6 total points. Bastion got 2 points for his team. If that hadn't happened, I would say Alex could just concede early, say differential doesn't matter because Bastion already won so much. We have to just win out to go through 3. But the problem is if he does concede this, then at best they can go through 3 and they will be going to a differential tiebreaker. So he has to win this game to not have to win out. It's going to be a tough road because that means they're going to need the 2-0 Matt HT, and he's going to have to win this second game versus Justin Branch. And it's all got to be by a lot of differential. Bastion's second game was 32. I don't know. I think his opponent, Mighty Maul, probably wasn't thinking about the... Normally in match play, you can just concede a second game, and it doesn't. When you lost first, it doesn't matter because diff doesn't matter when they win both. But with this, diff could matter if it comes down to a 3-3 tie. But I don't think it will. I think team Canadian, German, Brit walk into a bar was the, I think, tournament favorite when they entered with the 3 of them and teamed up. And it's looking like they're steamrolling. So Dark plays Blizzard 4, pulls another Docking Bay with the Rest Order. They use Blizzard 4 to get Steel, and he says when he's piloting, the opponent cannot cancel or substitute draws there. So he stops the WHAP flip side if he's piloting. Right now he is not piloting because Blizzard 4 cannot add any pilots. So he'll be good if Alex can find like a Blizzard 2 to put him on or get him into space somehow, but with no Hoth system, because it was slip sliding instead of combat response, with no Hoth system to shuttle him up. Yeah, so right now, and there's still no decree out. So Dark's going to lose 2 to the objective. This is a drain of 0 because Image of the Dark Lord was put on there. And he loses Masterful Combo. Decides once he top decked that Gick, it's not doing anything. There's not going to be a Savrip or anything. Celebration in his deck. And he top decks Emperor's Personal Shuttle. And Obi is going to come down. He's immune less than 6. So it is theoretically possible that an Emperor is drawn for Destiny like it was last battle. But most likely Obi will live and kill Marek Steel. Additionally, Silverglen is spreading to another site, so he's going to play solo, and I imagine he will move Panaka, who will then up the damage because Panaka and Amidala will be at separate sites, so Alex will have to lose 4 unless he finds Decree. So Justin downloads Jedi Lightsaber onto General Kenobi. I don't think there can be a Nabrin in the game. Arrest order is out. So, I mean, I guess he could Nabrin a whole pile of guys in front of him at the defensive perimeter or something. But, yeah, some kind of beatdown. Yeah, I'm sure there's a Nabrin in the WHAP deck, but there is arrest order. So, General Kenobi does his once per game take a clone into hand. And Tup can hit vehicles at a Destiny of +2. So, there will not be overflow. If you are Alex, you probably try and trample that guy, which targets ability, not armor. So he would be a pretty easy trample, but apparently it is not in hand. So light side initiates a battle and shoots and hits Blizzard 4. It is armor 4 and Tup draws a 4 +2. Unless Dark has a close call in hand to subtract 3. Dark time would not be enough. Okay, so Blizzard 4 is hit. And unless Dark draws a 6, Light just trades Tup for both of those. And then moves over Panaka, and I would guess CO Bibble, and leaves the 2 clones with Queen Amidala to help protect her, because you don't want to get flipped back. I guess you only flip back if opponent controls the throne room. So you could move her, and I don't know. I think Panaka and CO Bibble to go with Han probably makes sense. All right, so Light draws Queen Amidala for Destiny. Dark draws Command. So Tup will die, and both of them will die. Dark does win the battle. They'll be able to retrieve one. Oh, no, they do not win the battle. Why did I think they won the battle? Because he canceled his Destiny. Right. They would have won the battle because, see, they lost by 3, and they drew a 4. They would have won by 1 and retrieved, but Silverglen uses Lost Force to cancel that Destiny. So he'll get to keep both. And Dark, both of these have their full forfeit, so Dark's not going to lose any overflow, but they will not be able to retrieve a domination. Silverglen should probably go ahead and pull aim high, just if you lose any battles, but he can move to the hallway using land speed for free. So even though Justin is out of force, he can move dudes over for free to go with solo. Yeah, and that Marek Steel, who's a pretty good counter, I mean, one of your better ones to WHAP, canceling your destinies, goes down without ever getting to use his text because he has to be piloting. So Panaka and CO Bibble move over. And Justin will end his turn there. I mean, if you just look at the state of this board and their lost piles, Dark has 12 and lost. Light has 3. And, Light's obviously at a bunch of locations flipped. Next turn, they're poised to do... Lightsaber doesn't add 1 to drains, does it? Oh, it does. Okay. The virtual lightsaber. So they're poised to drain for 3 and 1. though battle order might get deployed, then he probably won't pay for the 1. And ping for 4. So he's potentially doing up to 8 damage next turn. And fairly strong at all these locations. I mean, the weakest one is here, but I mean, what's Dark going to do even if they go down there? They're not going to have much weapons. Maybe you kill Seal or a Han. Oh, JNap points out, Enforcement's not in effect. Light was at 3 locations to Dark's 1. So, yeah, he doesn't even need aim high because it is unlikely he will be at equal locations to Light's side, since Light has 2 interior and Dark is mostly vehicles. They have to be at all 3 of these exterior. Yeah. This was definitely not a good matchup for Hoth slip sliding away. I don't think any of the 2-0 slip sliding away decks are really that good or interesting. The Dagobah Cave or this Hoth one. They just, I think, have a lot of bad matches. I do think the Executor one could be fun with the V13 2-0 Executor site that lets the Executor deploy for much cheaper. Starting with that, pulling Executor, maybe KDY, and then doing some kind of Dark Mains deck. But, alright, so Dark comes down with Blizzard 1 and Veers, and Light side barriers Veers with using 1 force they activated with their tracking us. But Dark plays a Sense. Targeting Veers, they're going to have to draw less than 3. And Dark draws a 5. So they fail their Sense draw, which means Veers will be barriered. Dark side, after Veers is buried, plays a Tarkin's Bounty on him to take any card from Force Pile. I think he does that because normally you want to do that when you have a bigger Force Pile, but he knows Veers will likely die. Light side right now. Well, to hit this, it's armor 7, and he adds 2. So you'd need to draw 6 to hit with this, unless Solo. Is this a blaster? No. I was going to say Solo used, sorry about the mess, but Clone Sniper Rifle. I was going to say if Solo could add 3, but no. So, yeah, he probably won't be hitting it. He's just getting 1 Destiny that he can add 1 to, so if he drew a 5. Dark adds Grand Moff Tarkin. Tarkin, we'll let him redraw if he gets a 1, which is nice. He won't really get to use his add a Destiny because Veers already gets 2 if unable to otherwise. So unless Dark used Command to add 1, then they could add 1 with Tarkin plus have 4 ability, and then they would get 3. But otherwise they're just getting 2 regardless of Tarkin being there. So Light's going to do 4 damage. We still have not seen Decree, and it could be the fact that Alex just cut it. He's just like, yeah, I don't expect profit, and no idea is not allowed in the Jawa format, so I'm just not going to play Decree. And that's obviously bad if you face WHAP. So Alex plays Secret Plans in battle order, so Light can't get the free drain of 1 in. But take 4 direct damage from the objective. He did stop that drain of 3. Oh, and there's the Decree. No, Decree non-V. That would be for controlling these 2 Hoth sites. You could cancel all of their force drain bonuses. Kieran says slip sliding away with Maul and Newts is okay versus WHAP, but not versus a lot of other matches. Yeah, I in my playing slip sliding away, and I did it a version with the Blockade 2.0 site. The not this one, the whatever, the new one that's from the ASM objective. And it was based on a Ryan Searson deck that for its slip sliding away used Carbonite Chamber and had all too easy in it, and it was fun. But what I find is the slip sliding away decks just aren't balanced enough. Either they don't have enough space, or if they're heavy space like JJD's Dagobah Cave that uses combat response and stuff, their ground is pretty weak, and I don't know how to make it balanced enough that it. Yeah. Alex says, since this will not take too long, you want to make game 2 after this? And Silverglen says, sure. So, yeah, I'm guessing this game will speed through, and then we'll go. They were going to do game 2 tomorrow. Due to differences in time zones needing to spread out the 2 games. But if game 1 goes quick, they'll still have time tonight to do game 2. So Tup goes ahead and shoots. Obi can add 1, but I guess maybe there's a relatively unprotected in there or something that could hit. It is pausing on an action, so you can tell with Jimp that Dark has some potential response. Oh, it's probably pausing on Solo, potentially adding 1 from. If it is pausing on Dark, whose clock is ticking? Neither player? Did this just freeze? Is it my internet? Oh no. Oh, okay, no. Clock is ticking. Silverglen says, why can't I use Solo? I think he was trying to use Solo to add 3, but it's not a blaster. But you would do that before you shoot anyway. You have to add 3. It's because it's if you just targeted with a blaster. So, yeah. Silverglen should have known that anyway. Even if he didn't know that it wasn't a blaster, known that Solo, when he targeted, would have lit up. I guess maybe he did target and was expecting Solo to light up, and it didn't. So then it automatically drew. But yeah, Silverglen's plan was to shoot it and add 3. But of course, it is a rifle, not a blaster, so that doesn't work. JNap says, Eric's Ice Plains slip sliding away was the top dark side deck in the OCS by win percentage. It was 10-2. I think that is a factor of who was piloting it. I played Ice Plains slip sliding away for a few games. I think they were just casual open games, and I won because I had to play my ass off. It was not a game. It did not feel good. It didn't feel strong. So Dark plays Command to add a Destiny and uses Tarkin to add a Destiny, like we were talking about. Veers is unable to, otherwise will not come into play. And Light grabs that command that Dark used to add. Light draws a 4 and a 2. It's a 6, and Obi will add 1, I'm sure, make it a 7 total, which will crack the immunity, but Tarkin, of course, forfeits for 9 because of code clearance, so he'll only lose the 1 character. Not sure what it's paused on here. Maybe Alex1 has a dark time or something in hand, and he's thinking, do I need to subtract 1? Did he just forget to Obi? I don't see him. I didn't. Yeah, I think he forgot to use Obi to add 1 to it. If alone or with a clone, which he is. Activate 1. Oh, maybe he did he use him to activate? No, I don't see any Obi use. Okay. Well, Light drew 2 because they used leadership to add, and Dark did not have a force to grab. Dark draws a barrier, which Light cancels, a decimator, and a blizzard 2. So okay, he'll get 4 attrition through. which will probably be Tup. And Dark has 6 attrition. So Tup dies. Grand Moff Tarkin dies. I imagine Silverglen draws. Oh, just saves 2, because Dark can draw 2 Destiny. Yeah, Silverglen just saves 2, and yeah, and if Alex draws 2 Destiny there, he wants to be able to potentially cancel both of them. So Dark pings for 1 with Start Your Landing. Each marker site you occupy with an AT-AT. And Qui-Gon. Ooh, when you take damage from an effect, opponent's effect, you can upload an episode 1 interrupt, accept control, or place an on credits. So he uploads the Odin Nestler combo, which has the episode 1 icon right there. And free Odin combo is nice. Alex plays the Emperor to this drain 2 site. This is only a drain of 1, but the problem with this one is Light can move out and block it, so we'll see if that happens. And then Dark plays a No Escape to get Tarkin back into hand, and plays Tarkin down with Emperor. That way they are 8 power, and Tarkin will be able to add a Battle Destiny. Silverglen. Oh, Alex said, oh, it's 4-string 1 only. Oh, yeah, CO Bibble makes drains at adjacent sites -1. So that instead of being a 2 is a 1. So it'd be the same as going to Cloud City. And he's in kind of a waste of resources. You'd probably rather just take this site where you can drain 2. You know, if he had enough resources to do that. Yeah. But he was probably excited about maybe I can get some damage through, and then just realized, oh, that's a 1. So he draws a few. Light side. Qui-Gon's totally immune. Obi's immune less than 6, which, unless Dark draws 3/3, Obi will be immune, because anything higher than 3 gets canceled. And obviously anything lower than 3 won't add up to less than 6 with 2 Destiny, or to 6 or more. So to break his immunity, Dark needs to exactly draw 3/3. And the stupid thing here is Kenobi. Oh, he's not a loner with a clone. Silverglen would still have to have a clone. If he was, he could add 1 to a Just Drawn Destiny, meaning he could add 1 to the Dark Side's Destiny at 3 and then cancel it. So there would be literally no way for Dark to crack Obi's immunity if he was a loner with a clone with 2 Destiny draws, which is nuts. So Light says peel 4 to my objective and accelerate from hand, trample Emperor and Mahdi from reserve deck. And Light goes ahead and pays 3 to drain 1. He's starting to get more damage through. I don't know that they want to battle here. I mean, maybe they want to battle and hope Dark draws high and they can just cancel him and outpower. And then to the drain, he goes min. Yeah, so he's thinking if Dark draws low, I might outpower him. And if he draws high, I cancel and definitely outpower him. So Light draws a 4. Oh, yeah, earlier Justin was asking me about what cards from V13 I was excited about. The new Yoda, I think, is cool. The new Walkilmui, the Tai. I love that that's a battleground now. That opens up some cool things. There's a bunch of stuff in that V13 that I think is kind of exciting. So Dark draws a 2, which will make him power 12. And a 1, which will make him 13, so he'll have to peel 3, or he uses Enforcement to take to hand. He decides not to risk something getting canceled. So he's going to have to peel 3, and Light loses nothing. So Light this turn paid 4 force, 3 to drain, 1 to battle, and did 8 damage, 4 ping, 1 drain, 3 overflow. So 8 damage for 4 force, and Dark can pay 3 to drain 1, and we'll get a free ping. All right. Light is at 31 in life force, 5 in hand. Dark is at 16 life force, 1 in hand. So 17 total versus 36 total. Yeah, Bastion won by a ton, and Silverglen's going to win by a ton. To come back, Alex's team would need to 3-0 them and just demolish them in all 3 games. And I don't think NHT is going to lose back-to-back games by 25. The guy who just won the most recent major, Texas Mini Worlds. So Jared says the top light side will be Legend, Hitco, QMC, and probably Watch Your Step. I don't think Watch Your Step got enough help. I think Corellia is really good, but I'm very mad on the Han, and I think Kessel Run is just bad. Like, I don't think it's worth playing. So it got some scrub smugglers, and that it can basically replace a Walter Freighter Captain or whatever with, but they're not like amazing, and I don't think the solo is that good. So I think it basically got Corellia, which is good. It's a nice helper, but I don't know that Step got enough help. But its main bad matchup was Map, and I don't know how much Map will be in the meta, but yes, I mean Step could be decent just because it's a solid deck. Alex says, well, this all went wrong from the beginning, and Silverglen says the 0 was unfortunate for sure. Yeah, that battle, he drew the Ozzel, and Alex said true, but it was not only that. I mean, it all went wrong from the beginning where he chose Slip Sliding Away and Silverglen chose WHAP, because just, I mean, knowing those two, your game plan is not going to be great. So Dark does the you may start your landing ping, and Light loses relatively unprotected. See if Dark opts to drain. Oh no, he's just drawing up. So Silverglen has 19 or has 9 in hand, but we'll see if there's any used interrupts. I'm assuming he'll pop Walkling at some point. He might just have his mouse in the auto pass thing. Jane App says, Watch Your Step can do Space Heavy, Blaster, No Questions Asked Celebration, or Kessel Run stuff. Yeah, I mean, it'll have some goofy, interesting stuff. I think, I wish it got a little more help. Or I wish the Kessel Run stuff was a little better. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe my analysis evaluation of it is wrong. I know a lot of people have play tested this set and must think it's sufficient. But yeah, I think a lot of the Watch Your Step stuff is just going to be binder fodder, unfortunately. Let's see what. Yeah, but there's lots of cool V13 stuff. Yeah, Alex says, congratulations on winning the finals. I don't think we can come back from that. Yeah, I think it's extremely unlikely. So Silverglen wins by 26 here, unless he pops Walkling. It'd be more. I don't know that he's going to bother. That might just be a run up the score. And now they're just doing some friendly chat. Well, while they're chatting, let's actually look at some of the V13 stuff. Dark Tyrannus, I think, is really good. Some of the Inquisitors are that stuff's interesting. I'll be curious to see how that goes. The Maul, cool. The new Spies can't just U3PO can't double Agent Corrin is a good shield. I think the Grimtosh Monarch stuff is a fair way to deal with the lost part of that. Yeah, I'm curious how Visage will come out because they said they are working on that a little bit. Yeah, well, Kilmui being a battleground is cool. All right. Silverglen's saying no need to play game 2. Alex says let's switch. Okay, so they are gonna play game 2. We'll just continue the stream. So let's jump back to the hall. Let's see. So light side, yeah, you got the Lando who does the Kessel Run stuff, and you got the Chewie that does the Kessel Run stuff, and the Han. But there's some different smugglers, Kira and L337, Rio Durant, Tobias Beckett, lots of different random smugglers. Val's cool. She's going to be useful. She can forfeit in place of your set 13 smuggler here, restoring him to normal, and she has a blaster. The new Yoda's cool. I think meditation is interesting. Twilight is upon me, and Anakin Skywalker are fun. All right. Looks like game 2 is starting. Alex has Yavin 4 operations, and Silverglen has CCT. So, yeah. It's another one where I would, if it was a different match, I would say Yavin 4 operations, like Hunt Down. Yavin 4 operations could just like flip and retrieve a bunch and get a monster win. But here, CCT, I think, is going to go over the audience chamber, have Despair out, be draining 2. 1 if Light does a projection of a Skywalker. They're going to be pinging with You'll Be Dead, blaster effect. I think Dark's just going to get enough through and probably be able to IG pull their ships and harass wherever Light is weakest. So Dark uses any methods necessary for Boba Fett and all of his stuff, gun, dungeon. Notably, he does not play or does not take into hand Slave 1, which obviously against a space deck he would if you had it. So he's indicating he's not playing much space. He's probably playing Maul's ship for cloaking and not much else. So I would be looking for cloaking answers pretty quickly. He probably has an Ellis in hand. He probably plays a couple ships, but decided Slave 1 not worth it. So which indicates he is lighter on space. And Light starts squassing, walkling, and strike planning. And Dark goes ahead and activates 1 with any methods necessary they drew into hand, and Light pulls 3PO. As soon as you see 3PO in a deck like this, you got to be thinking, we're doomed. It could be worse. Could be looped to lock out damage. So I'm saving my grabber for one of those, and I'm saving my voyeur for the other one. And that's a good way to deal with those potential cards. The differential was 26, I think. They'll have to confirm because I'm. So Silverglen uses 1 force to pull He's All Yours Bounty Hunter into hand. That'll let Fett relocate over free to the audience chamber, flipping the objective unless Silverglen activated his audience chamber. Light side pulls General Leia. All right, so they at least are indicating I have some ground stuff. I'm going to be fighting on the ground, and not just with EPPs. So that's definitely an interesting card to see. I don't know. I guess I don't really know who else you'd be pulling with strike planning in this deck. The strike planning is a weird one to start. So, yeah, Dark plays Despair and the Dungeon from hand, and then uses the objective to pull the audience chamber. Plays Fett and his gun. I feel like the dungeon should be on the other side. And obviously it doesn't matter, and they can like rearrange whichever way you want, but I have like my preferred order of like how sites go. And obviously if you're using the dungeon to split with the Great Pit of Carcoon, that's an exception, but otherwise I feel like the dungeon should be on the right hand side from my perspective of the audience chamber. Do you guys do that where you have like a certain thing where you feel like when you play if you play Watch Your Step, and at the beginning it like plays Cantina, and it's like, where do you want to place Docking Bay 94? Like I always put it to the left, so then it goes Docking Bay 94, Cantina, system, and Cantina is closest to the system, because the other way around is weird to me to have it go like, yeah, I don't know, to have Cantina on one end and have Tatooine be on the other end. Do you guys have a preferred order for that? Maybe it's just me. All right, so Fett relocates over for free, flips, and Silverglen just draws 2 cards. He's going to get to activate one with that Carbon Chamber console, which will give him a force for a barrier or a stunning leader or whatever. And, of course, Fett has his once per game swap into reserve to get any sort of projective telepathy or stunning leader or whatever to try and cancel that battle if Light does go attack Fett. So Light is showing a more mainsy deck than you would think when you see the objective with Boss Nass Chambers and with a General Leia. He's going to be doing some fighting stuff. He does pull an Arshada with his objective. So now Light is activating 12. Dark is getting 10 plus the one from the console. And Light reveals Luke with squadron assignments. I see a lot of this Luke nowadays, and not so much the Rebellion's Hope one. I think that's interesting. This Luke is good. Just retrieving one a turn. We see that with Rose. We see that Dark's going to retrieve one per turn with their objective. Like it's, and Light plays a cannons on Luke, saying, "Don't come at me with your starfighters. I will shoot you." He doesn't have the force to make it immediately lost right now, but he can still hit something. And then Light plays Rescue to peek. Seems like a weird time to play Rescue after you've basically used all your force and you're still in your deploy phase but only have 2 left. I would have played it earlier so that I have the choice at the beginning of my deploy phase in case that affects something, you know, or even earlier in the turn, so that you go, oh, I want to take this card and that changes my plan for this turn. Right now you obviously can't change anything, so seems like an odd time to play that card. So he did the Rescue. He pulls Battle Plan. Dark, I think, will pay 3 of his 10. Oh, he plays an R2 on there. So maybe he rescued into the R2 and that just worked out perfect. Next turn, Luke will probably upload a Dark Letter Spin and use that to pull another ship that he can squash him with. So it's cool that Luke can do that. Pretty thematic. He says, huh. Oh, does he not know R2 costs 2 post Harada? Dark goes ahead and plays the Voyeur because Light has no force to grab it. So if he does need to use it as a quote-unquote grabber to kill, it could be worse or we're doomed or whatever later. Alex says, I thought he was only 1 to deploy. He was hitting the errata. He costs 2 now, and he no longer goes to used pile once per game. So still good, but probably won't see 2 copies of him in multiple different light side decks anymore, which indicated he was a little too strong. Oh, Silverglen says wrong R2, I think. No, it's the right one. They just errated him. I mean, I'm assuming this is the right one. Yeah, I don't think there is one. There's not one that deploys for 1. It's just the errata. JNAP says, I will always now put Imperial Square in between Imperial City and the JCC. Used to do 1-1. Oh, yeah. I was that a game you got blown out because you, put it in the wrong place and couldn't flip forever against Asai. That's a dangerous one. Basically, they can force your hand with that with the JCC. If you play Imperial Square first and you don't get your battleground because you missed that pull, they can play JCC on the other side of the Imperial City, and so that you have the city on one side, JCC on the other, and then the 2-0, and then your Shizor's Palace site has to go on the other side, so you have to march through the 2-0. So it can be a big liability to play the city and not another one if they have JCC in hand. JNAP, talking about the Luke Skywalker versus Luke Rebels Hope, says, I used to do 1-1 in space heavy yaps. Rebellion's Hope is good against Court and Deal to break Executor immunity or get around Guri. It's true. I mean, he is good if you're going to be fighting in space. I feel like space fights are not super common right now. So, Dark does pay 3 to drain, and light top decks projection, and the Force is strong with this one virtual, which is a nice one with Leia. But she'd have to be with a Dark Jedi, so never mind. And otherwise, it's got to be Luke with a character ability. So that wouldn't really do much against this deck. And then top stack that projection, which is a bummer for him. I'm sure he wanted to walkling for it at some point and put it on the audience chamber. There might be a second, but in which case one of them is going to be useless because there's not going to be, you can't play it on Cloud City and there's not going to be any other Battleground sites. So if there is a second, that's all he needs. But if it was just the one, that would be a bummer. So Dark deploys Scum from his hand. That is pullable with your objective, but Silverglen drew it. I think we'll see him back up the audience chamber a little bit. After you see that Boss Nass chambers, you see the General Leia. You might be worried about her and her gun, her and backup and a leadership to add a destiny, anything like that. And yeah, you do have the once per game FET swap cancel, but I think you'd probably start. So he uses the audience chamber looking for his pull. And I wonder if normally you go Darrow into IG right here. So IG can start force pile pulling. I wonder if one of those components is not in there. I think it was a mistake playing the Scum from hand. Yeah, he pulls Zam, and I'm sure that's not who he wanted. I think playing the Scum from hand was a mistake. What he should have done is gone to pull Scum with my favorite decoration and given up a Verify, and then played Scum from hand. And then he knows if your alien combo stuff is in there that you want. Because right now Zam is a pretty weak play there. So he plays Coward to stop Luke's potential retrieval. Luke will just upload Dark Lighter Spin then. And he's drawing, hoping that the Darrow or IG or whichever one was missing or both was in those cards and not in the 2 force that he paid for Zam. But he did stop drawing at 10, so presumably he got what he wanted. Saved one, he'll activate another one with the console. Light activates, I think, in their control phase. Pays 3 to drain for 2. And draws a Freedom Destiny. He needs a 5. He gets it. 5 plus 1 for the Snub Fighter makes 6, and you need to draw greater than 5. So Silverglen's going to have to lose a force and stack it face down there, and that will make it a drain of 3. So it's losing 4 force this turn. So there's the stack, and then 3 force to the drain. And then Luke will upload a spin. So if Alex wins this, his team is still alive, but his third teammate would need to beat MHT in both games by a lot of force. And that could even color what Matt chooses. He might just be like, hey, I'm not going to lose a bunch with Hunt Down because we'll both just be losing a Visage. Or probably even better, I'm not going to lose a bunch with Entanglements. There's no light deck I can picture that has just an auto win by 20 plus against Entanglements. Like, Entanglements can grind down any light side deck. So, unless, you can always get extremely unlucky, right? Light drops Profundity, Poe, has a sense for command, or you just don't draw Justice or Barrier or anything you need. And you could get unlucky, but otherwise, Entanglements can grind down whether it wins or loses. So if Matt's like, hey, not only do I just need to win one of them, I need to just not lose both of them by insane amounts. Oh, it's the VR format, which is no rares. That's interesting. So there's no entanglements. There's no hunt down. There's let's see, what have we been seeing in the virtual reality format? I know on my team Jimmy played. Oh no, Kieran was the we looked at CCT. ROPS has been played. Yeah, ROPS probably won't lose by a ton in the VR format. I think MHT played ROPS earlier. Legend is popular. Yeah, if MHT plays ROPS and Legend, I don't know how you. I mean, it'd be hard to just win, let alone win both of those by a ton. Neither of those decks should get blown out by a lot. So 3PO comes down. Light uses their objective to pull indoor, which is a 2-0. Dark will not get any force off of that because of strike planning. So Dark is still activating just 10, plus it's 1 from Chamber, and Light's getting 15 now. So plenty of force to do stuff. They pull simple tricks, which will stop the objective retrieval. And now they got 3PO cycling. So Light's got all the tools they need. Plenty of force, 3PO. They've got a drain going. I think this turn we will see. Oh, there's so when the drain of 4 after he stacked a card, it became a drain of 3. He lost them all off reserve, and it was a Twi'lek imbalance combo and Maul's ship. And with Light playing that simple tricks, Dark's not going to be able to retrieve that right now. Light also played an out of commission trying to shuffle that down so that it couldn't be retrieved, but it got imbalance combo and stuck the Maul's ship on top. So it had a 1/3 chance to get it out of play, and then a 50/50 chance to have it buried. But missed both of those, but simple tricks will still stop it for the moment unless Dark battles into that and retrieves with scum. But then there's the cannon and 3 force saved. That seems like a bad idea. It would get you Maul's ship back, so you could cloak for the rest of the game until anti-cloaking stuff is found, but I don't think we'll see that. Yeah, okay, so it's a really good start for Light side. Especially seeing no Slave 1 pulled with any methods and Maul's Infiltrator top decked. I think that means Silverglen will not even be able to satisfy resistance because he'll just be at the 2 sites and no system. And so a drain of 3 will go through. Unfortunately, he's playing other, before you have to play, but indoor is only going to be a drain of 2 once you stack with. So You'll Be Dead comes out. That's a good one because it will just do a ping of 1 every turn. Darrow comes out. That's, I think, probably what Justin was drawing for, and he uses that to presumably get IG-88, unless that was activated. He gets P-59. He really needs to be checking his reserve deck. I don't know if he has any way to do that, though, other than fanfare. Yeah, I don't see any way on table. This. He could upload He's All Yours Bounty Hunter and then see, there's no IG in deck. So IG must be the bottom force that he didn't draw. That's my guess. He saw both IG and Darrow. He used some force. He used 3 to drain and 2 on Zam. And then he drew into the Darrow and just saved 1 and was thinking, IG's probably in that 5 force I used. And no, he was not. So, and Silverglen could be doing checks with the console, but is not. It would cost a force to do that and give up a verify, but instead. So Hondo's going to come down. Audience chamber is quite secure. I'm not sure about this Hondo play because you don't have enough Aura Sing. I guess she's normally 4 and Scum makes her a 3. Yeah, and he only has 2 force. So if you could pull down him and Aura, that'd be decent. But I think that's the liability because General Leia can come down and battle, and she retrieves 1 when she battles. Clear him. Yeah. Dark activates 1 with Carbon Chamber console. Dark may already have Stunning Leader in hand and just not worried about it. and would be happy if light came down then, so it could stunning the battle and then come back with more stuff and just try and overrun whatever light has and be retrieving with scum. And I think so. Light pays 3 to drain 3, and we'll probably take a spin into hand. Oh, interesting. It's an EPP maul, which obviously suspends scum, but gives you some random options to attack. To just, like against Legend, just throw it down, hit BB-8 in rows, and then just like lose him and gick it. Prince Sheezer also goes off the top, and artillery. So a lot of Silverglen's potential damage is getting lost between the ship being able to cloak but possibly get drains through. I was thinking though if he had tap maul he could drain through him at some places, but no, it's the EPP. But this is a lost interrupt with You'll Be Dead, but you'll still loop it because you'll play it lost and then you'll immediately retrieve it with your objective. So that would be a ping 1 a turn. The blaster's going to ping 1 a turn. But with losing that, I guess that will be retrieved next turn if light doesn't bury it though. Dark will retrieve with the objective now that they are satisfying simple tricks. So light plays Jin to block that drain of 2, but she gets None Shall Pass. Bounced back into hand. And she does not deploy free next turn. Unlike the Kisawookie, it is just back to hand. You gotta play him next turn. Good use of that card. He was saving it, I'm sure, for like an EPP OB or something. Like if General Leia EPP OB come down, can just None Shall Pass OB. But I think right there he decided like, okay, he's clearly not going to be attacking me. Definitely not this turn, and definitely not at that site. Like if light has a place to attack, it would be over on Cloud City. So I might as well use this now to bounce Jin. So Falcon and Rey come down to the same location as Luke, and I believe that is so that light will move Luke to a different location, and if the Falcon was just deployed straight to a system and tried to liberate a system, he'd need to draw 6, but if Luke's there, because it adds for each snub fighter present, and the Falcon's not a snub fighter, obviously it's a freighter, that he wants to move Luke to a system so he can liberate it with only a 5, which means he wants the Falcon here so he can drain for 3. He plays JCC too, so there is a ton of activation in this light side, and that would worry me as Dark, because usually only light side mains play NAS Chambers and JCC. He is showing a lot of space though. I mean, Luke's in space, Rey's in space, so you're kind of only left with EPPs, but I'm just surprised at that number of activation, because then you're also wasting like at least 3 slots on Wisam, probably 3 slots on Speak. I think you could cut the 3 Speaks and the JCC at the very least and still be fine on activation. And because Light's getting 18 and Dark's only giving them 2. So even if they didn't have that, they'd get 16. Even without the JCC, they're at 13 on their own. Plus whatever Dark gives them. I think the JCC is overkill in this deck and probably using up 4 card slots. So Dark pays 3 to drain 2. We'll retrieve that artillery, I'm sure. Light uses It Could Be Worse, and Dark grabs. I think that's a good grab because 3PO can loop that. We're Doomed would also be super annoying because you have a lot of different separate little pings, a drain 2, a drain 1, a ping with a blaster, maybe a ping with an artillery, and it would just, after the first one, it just cut all those to 0. But as long as you don't lose your Voyeur, if you can get that back to hand, then after they play We're Doomed, you can just Voyeur Lost and kill it. You got to make sure, though, you can bury it, that he doesn't have a force for Walkling. Yeah. Oh, so we didn't see Luke moved. I don't like that at all. Yeah, I just realized, hey, we're talking about Darkseid's turn, and they drained, and da-da-da, and Light did not move Luke, which I don't like. They were already stacked here enough. What did that gain them? they still don't have a second battleground for Coward, so Luke cannot retrieve. They're still just draining the same 3. Like, I think if you split it up, if you're Alex, you're probably worried about Dark coming down with a ship and battling and retrieve with Scum and all that, but it doesn't seem like Dark has many ships based on what ships they are playing, and they don't have IG to pull stuff. I think that bottom card right there is IG. I think he needs to draw that card right now and then just activate one with Carbon Chamber Console. I don't know if he's worried about like a Draw the Fire beatdown where he'd need 2 for stunning, but I would not be surprised if that bottom card enforces IG88. All right, so Light will go again. Dark is doing 3 to Light's 3, but Dark's retrieving 1 and could potentially do more if they wanted to pay more. Light's going to pay 3 to drain 3. Can't retrieve with Luke through because of Coward. So Dark top decks Twi'lek, Stun Blaster, and Voyeur. Ooh. So Stun Blaster would have been good for Justin to have in hand because it would add a second ping damage to You'll Be Dead. He'd put it over on a Dude on Cloud City. And Voyeur would have been good in hand to stop any sort of We're Doomed loop. So both those cards were not ones you wanted to top deck. This game is going really well for Light side. There's the Leia and the Obi we were talking about. I think Dark probably has Gick. We'll trade one guy for one guy and then come back and battle with Scum next turn and retrieve some. It'll stop the retrieval here. Greedo could possibly react here, but then you're probably just losing both because he hits Greedo and then attrition kills Hondo. So you probably don't even react Greedo if you have him in hand. Well, if you don't have Gick, you drop down Greedo for the extra forfeit. So if he battles, Leia's going to retrieve rescue with her own text. This game's starting to spiral a little bit for Silverglen, even with some weird light side plays that JCC and keeping guys stacked. And of course, if he gets out IG and just starts pulling stuff, he's matching damage right now. The Jin did not come back down, so because he wanted to spend a bunch of force on that. Maybe right now he's debating, do I spend another 4 on Jin out of my 7? And I think the answer is probably not. Yeah, he plays Lando. He's hoping to catch him without a Gick. Now, I don't think Silverglen plays that play without a Gick. After seeing him pull Leia and guessing that he probably has EPPs, that would be pretty nuts to just play him alone. And he left him alone by himself multiple extra turns. So he's hoping to catch him without a Gick, but maybe Silverglen was just relying on, hey, maybe Greedo's going to be enough. That'll give me someone to forfeit. And Alex says he's expecting Stunning Leader. Yeah. Silverglen has lots of outs here. Or Projective Telepathy. He's down to only 2 force now. So that gave him a whole extra out. And yeah, I think right here, if Light pays 1 to battle, Dark does Projective or Stunning, possibly Gick. And Light can't pay to retrieve with Leia because if he did, he wouldn't have 1 force for upkeep if he paid 1 to battle and pay to retrieve with Leia. Of course, he could just choose to forfeit the Lando to the Destiny. But I don't see... Maybe he's thinking I don't battle, but at some point you got to chew through that evasion, unless it's the Projective Telepathy and you want to have more force first. But at some point you got to chew through that stunning and stuff like that. You battle, he's stunning leaders, you pay 1 for upkeep, you pass. You don't get to retrieve with Leia. You don't get to save 1 for Obi swinging against Greedo. So he does pay 1 to battle, though, instead of passing. I kind of would have liked passing, because then you're just stacked. Light Dark probably can't take you off that. No stunning, no projective. Oh, there's the We're Doomed. So you definitely want to find a voyeur because Alex is going to activate 6, and he knows right where that is now. Okay, so it's got to be the Gik. I was surprised. No stunning didn't surprise me. No projective telepathy. I do think we did see one top decked, and he might only have one, so I guess that's why. But we're just gonna see probably Lando traded. You could lose Leia and pay 1 for Lando's upkeep, but I think her ping retrieval could be big this game, so I might just lose to Lando. And Dark is deciding. No. Okay. Light draws 2 Battle Destinies. They draw a 1. And Light, if they don't need the We're Doomed yet, can just 3PO into that Qui-Gon also and just have more ground power. Desai, you missed it. I see you're in the chat now. I was talking about other cool V13 cards. I like the Walkilmui being a battleground. I think that's really cool. I like some of the Inquisitor stuff is interesting. The Maul. I think the shields were really well designed. Having U3PO never Yarnel your Corrin was silly. And I think the Grimtosh Monarch stuff is a pretty fair solution to that. I think... yeah, what else was there that I was talking about being pretty cool? The new Yoda, I think, is cool. Anakin Skywalker and Twilight, I think, are good. The Help Me Obi combo is cool. Corellia, the Death Star site. Yeah, there's a lot of... and everyone's favorite, good old Rock. Nothing beats it. There's a lot of cool cards in the set. I like V13. So we see the Gik. Light opts not to grab it. And they end their turn and just save 1. Meanwhile, Dark goes ahead and pings 1 with You'll Be Dead and is debating, do I pay 3 to drain 2? And opts not to because they want to save all their force to attack. So if Mara hits General Leia and then takes out Obi from attrition, clear the site. Proxima is going to add a Battle Destiny. So even if... I think Obi will swing at Proxima. He saved the 1 for a Greedo. Oh, maybe he saved 1 for barrier, and no, he just said, need to play a shield. Oh, Aim High is not out, but he has the opportunity to play a shield because Django's coming down also. So now he plays Aim High. Silverglen will not be able to afford to retrieve that Gik with Scum. So... yeah, I think top decking that Mulsith Infiltrator was pretty big because Dark only getting 10 force. I think they need that the bridge, the passenger pit out, and it all kind of goes down to missing that IG pull. The 1 turn, one part of the combo, Darrow wasn't in the reserve deck, so he just drew, and the next turn he didn't check his deck, and so he played Darrow, and IG wasn't in there. I think IG is a bottom card of force pile, and he needs to find some way to just draw that. Yeah, having a Yoda that can fight anywhere is cool. A fighting Yoda, like in Attack of the Clones, flipping around, doing tricks. So Mara does hit Leia. Obi's going to hit Proxima. He's forfeit 8. So they cover 17 in a Destiny versus 14 and 3 Destiny. Dark might actually be able to do some overflow here, and we did see Hujix go off Lost Pile, and there's no solo on table, so Dark might get a few overflow here if Light draws low and or Dark draws high. So Light uses a once per game, looking for a Han's Toolkit to shuffle his deck. Did he already 3PO this turn? I think he did. There was a Qui-Gon on top of his deck, because last turn he drew Qui-Gon right before Snap Wexley. All right, so Dark draws a 5. Oh, a foil. Why is there a foil in here? Silverglen, take that foil out. A 5. And a 7. Wow, there's definitely going to be big overflow here. Yeah, Bastion says Qui-Gon was on top. So Dark is 31. Light covers 17. Plus 5 is 22. So Light is going to lose Ev1 and 9. And Dark will lose Django and Proxima. And Django will not upload Fett because he's sitting over there. So Obi, we'll see if there's another Resilience in his 3-card hand. Does not look like it. So now he is peeling 9. And that will make it a lot harder for Alex to win this game, because he'll be paying for battle plan, battle order, and he will be doing it with a much smaller life force count than Silverglen is. So if they're just both paying to drain race, that favors Silverglen at the moment. If that Jin comes back down, Silverglen needs to find Probot. But that would be, yeah, that would be interesting. All right, so did he finally draw his last one? Yeah, Silverglen drew. I think he just drew into the IG-88. We're going to see that come down from his hand next turn. So Light pays 3 to drain 1, and once again, Coward is stopping that Luke retrieval because he's so stacked in space. And we'll see what his 2-card hand has. He's All Year's Bounty Hunter and Aura Singh go off the top. And Forlom. Alex did not save any Destiny, so he's clearly not planning on attacking. He plays solo with Ray, and then I think he'll move Luke to Yavin 4, or possibly Indoor. This red 5 right now is maneuver 8. That's awesome. You just spin. Excuse me. So, Jin does come down, does not get None Shall Pass this time. Right now, the counts are Alex has, so the 2 in his hand were solo and Jin. Alex has none in hand. He has 17 life force. Silverglen has 21 life force and 6 in hand. So he is up by 10 overall hand and life right now. And Alex draws. Once again, saving 1, 4 in hand. So Dark's gonna, if they pay 3, get to drain 1. They will get to retrieve 1 with their objective. And Light is draining for 3 and potentially 2 if he restores freedom to Yavin. Dark is pinging for 1. So right now, pinging 1, draining 1, retrieving 1, and Light's doing 3. So those match, and then Light will be up by 2. Make him lose to You'll Be Dead first because of We're Doomed. Either way, We're Doomed would cut this drain of 1 to 0, or would cut the You'll Be Dead to 0. Jin is blocking the drain of 2. Otherwise, though, you save the 3 force of draining. If you do, You'll Be Dead first. Right, good point. If you do, You'll Be Dead, or you pay 3 to drain, and then he plays We're Doomed. You'll Be Dead does 0. That's a good point. All right, so we had Probot in hand. Let's see if he also plays an IG. That audience chamber is so stacked. He doesn't really want to commit more guys there, but he had to do the Probot for Jin. IG is just so good for... No, he does not play IG because he transfers the gun to Zam for whatever reason. Normally you would transfer that to IG if you have him, so... Zam is easier to kill than Fet. It has less armor. Like, if Light was like, I want to go get rid of that you'll be dead damage, I'm just going to toss in an EPP and solo the Hujix from Lost and go get rid of that gun ping. I don't know why he transferred it. I guess because he'd rather be able to forfeit. Oh, he's moving Fet. He wants to leave the gun with you'll be dead to ping, and he's moving Fet to do the once per game retrieve too. Makes sense. I think you should have broken with Probot first, because now if I'm Light, I move Jin. I don't know if Alex is thinking about that, but if he moves Jin, then he can break cover and attack Fet, and probably have no Gick if he has another dude in his 3-card hand. And Alex has one force, and there's no force for Probot to break cover now anyways. I think Silverglen doing that retrieval was premature because he had to pay 2 for aim high, and now he has no force for Jin or for Probot. He could have just done that next turn. Yeah, Tanish Bajek would be nice. Alex is playing Wisa from hand. Yeah, I mean, so if you move Jin, you're threatened to break cover, kill Fet, and free the captive. Or, I mean, if you have an EPP in hand, Jin, EVP, hit Fet, your power, you're doing what, 5 plus Destiny? Overflow to Dark? And that would be nice. But, I don't know. We're still in the move phase. He could still move Jin. We'll see. Just played Wisa. Maybe he played that Wisa because he wants a 5 for battling Fet. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he wants to leave Jin because he has no other characters in hand and wants to block the drain for another turn until Probot can cancel her undercoverness. Silverglen is at 29 hand in life because of the objective retrieval and the dungeon retrieval this turn bumped him up. Alex is at 15. So Justin's up by 14, but he'll take 3, 4, and possibly 2 more for this. Possibly 6. Yeah, losing Voyeur, top decking Voyeur was big. Top decking Artillery was big. Both of those would be that I think that We're Doomed might just cut Silverglen's damage to 2 a turn. And Light can retrieve 1 with Luke. That We're Doomed will be very annoying. Yep, so he does successfully liberate that system with the Wisa he played last turn, and then he activated all but 1. Draws the 5. Silverglen has to stack a card, and now it's a drain of 2. Silverglen loses top decks a much anger in him. So that's obviously for Maul cloaking and sitting in front of a rebel. If he had been able to IG pull and put together a Maul and ship, and you know, he could have got the ship back at some point with Jabba's Haven, but not having the force pile pulls is rough. If you could put that on Luke, put Maul in front and cloak, you lose 2 to the cloak and they lose 4 to the much anger until they find a cloaking solution or possibly a way to fire this in control. All right, so more top decking goes Wipe, which would be nice for activation. Dr. E and the passenger deck, nice for activation. So yeah, Silverglen's just a little bit choked, not getting the cards he needs. This is going well for Light, except for that beatdown of, what was it, Obi and 9? Obi, Leia, and 9. Drawing 5/5/7 for Battle Destiny was helpful, versus if he had drawn like these 3, 5, 3, 0, 8 instead of 17, Alex would have taken no overflow. So plays code clearance just in case Light does a cheeky Jedi Lev. It will shut off Luke's retrieval, Walkling retrieval. At some point, Alex should go ahead and Walkling just to get that life force a little bit higher before he can afford to not pay for it. Alex 3POs. You gotta imagine he has We're Doomed in hand by now, though he did shuffle to get that Qui-Gon off the top, and that shuffled in the We're Doomed, so he's just cycling looking for it. Okay, so there's the We're Doomed. So Silverglen's gonna just ping one, retrieve one, and then the question is he gonna pay? Oh no, Jin, he can't pay, so he won't pay there for a drain of 0. Well, it's a drain of 1, but then the damage is reduced, cut in half, and rounded down, so essentially 0. I'm guessing based on what we've seen so far, there is no other ships in Silverglen's deck besides that Infiltrator, and probably just the one Maul. So even though he could get the Infiltrator back if he finds Jabba's Haven, probably doesn't have a way to get that Maul back. Meaning he has no way to go to space this game. Which means that We're Doomed loop just limiting him to 1 damage a turn. It'll be 2 actually after once he takes his sight, because he can just drain there and then they're all cut to 0, or he can ping 1 and then they're cut in half and then drain 1 there. Either way, it nets to 2. But with We're Doomed capping it to 2 and then Luke retrieving 1 of those, Dark's essentially doing 1 damage per turn. And Light right now is doing 5 a turn, and Dark's retrieving 1. So Light's netting 4, and Dark's netting 1. Even though Silverglen is way ahead on hand and life, it looks kind of dire unless he has something else like a Search and Destroy. I'm guessing not. It looks like he was counting on extra damage from Artillery that was top-decked, Voyeur that was top-decked, the extra Naboo Blaster for a second you'll be dead damage, which was top-decked. And so most of his damage potential is just gone. And so Light's going to have to use Solo to burn the Hoojiks for Jin, I think. Jin should move because P-59 will kill her. And either way, you're going to We're Doomed cut him to 2 damage next turn. So her blocking the drain is pretty irrelevant. I guess she could block it and then he could We're Doomed, and We're Doomed half of P-59's damage too. Either way, you're going to have to probably use Solo to Hoojiks. And so Luke retrieved a Speak, and then there was a drain, Aura, Cad Bane, and Stunning Leader all came from hand, and then a drain of 2 at Yavin, and Cold Feet and Artillery came from reserve. Okay, so there is another Artillery. So, but We're Doomed is just going to shut that down too. Even if he had that in hand, he can retrieve that on his objective. Even if he has it, plays it, it's just 0. So not having that Voyeur to kill the We're Doomed is tough. At that point, you'd rather have We're Doomed grab than it could be worse, because it could be worse. At least forces him to use 2 force to reduce, which once he gets lower on force could be hard. But yeah, I think Dark's netting 4 to, or Light's netting 4 to Dark's 1. The Jin thing, Dark's going to get to retrieve 2 with Scum. I think Alex is... If Alex has another ship going to Endor, up in his damage 2 more by playing 2 cards, he could still win this game. With Alex so low on cards, though, if I'm Silverglen, I think I'm still digging for did the Jabba's Haven? Oh, he did lose Jabba's Haven. Okay, right before he lost so much anger in him. Because I was going to say, I'd still be looking for Jabba's Haven to retrieve that Maul ship, to just, even if you don't have Maul, just throw any pilot in and try and go to a system and try and just like run around. But he lost Jabba's Haven. He lost the ship. So Alex is in his deploy phase thinking about how he wants to go about this, what he wants to do with Jin. He's trying to calculate if I leave her there and block a drain and then we're doomed after the blaster ping and I take half the damage from P59, or I move her in and then he gets to drain 2 and then I cap it in half. Like, what nets me more? And he decides to draw with Ray. Give him a little more options. Let's see what does net him more. If he leaves Jin, Dark pings 1, and then Light War Dooms. Dark battles, retrieves 2, P59 1, and Yuhujik. So Dark takes 2. If you move it, still get the 2 scum retrieval. Dark drains 2, then damage is cut to 0. So either way, it's 2. Whether you take a drain of 1, and then we're doomed, or you take... I guess the blaster ping wouldn't ping while you're there. But it's the drain of 1 either way. You take 1 from that and 1 from P59, or you'd take 2 and then shut it off if she moves. So either way, it's 2. So he does opt to move her. And Alex is at 11 life force and 5 in hand, 16, which is plenty considering he's just taken 1 a turn. And he's dishing out 5 a turn, and then or he's taking 2 a turn versus 5, but then they're both retrieving 1. So, yeah, Alex he's definitely going to win this game, or I think pretty assuredly. He does have force saved, so that Justin can't just cold feet into the Watch Your Step, Useless Gesture, Shield to make solo pay 1. Yeah, if he had no force saved, then Jin could get beat down, but he does have plenty of force saved. So he pings with You'll Be Dead, and then we're doomed, and then he drains 1. So he's getting 2 damage through now. But Luke's retrieving 1 of it, so 1 net. He retrieves 1 with the objective, which is an artillery. Comes down with Jawa. I don't know if he's trying to get a beatdown in. I mean, I guess he just needs a Destiny to clear her because Fett cannot draw on his own. Ooh, Afra, that'll change some maths there. She goes there. She can pull a droid. I don't think we've seen IG go lost. P59. What else could there be? A Guri? I don't think there's a droid there, so I think he's just going to move a different card to the top. Ooh, Voyeur. So you move Voyeur to the top, even if you have a droid. You move Voyeur to the top, you battle, retrieve it with scum, track it around, get it back, and kill that we're doomed. Stun Blaster. Okay. Let's see. If he has Stun Blaster, he can do 2 with You'll Be Dead, and then 1 with the objective. So he'll be doing 3. If he put Voyeur and killed it, he'd be doing a drain of 2, a ping of 1, and a drain of 1. He'd be doing 4. So, yeah, I think the Stun Blaster was worse than the Voyeur. Zemowit thinks Silverglen probably forgot about that Voyeur text. Maybe. Yeah, if he did, he should definitely get reminded because that lost part of Voyeur essentially being a grabber to just kill a one-time interrupt. Of course, maybe he's also thinking, hey, if I kill it, he just immediately walklings it. So I have no way to bury it. Oh, Dark draws a 0 for Battle Destiny. Yeah, maybe he just decided, like, Voyeur does nothing until he pops walkling. And Light draws a 5. Dark will lose Fett. Light still cannot lose Jin because she outpowered. But if you're Light, you just battle. Why do you lose Java? I would have just lost Fett there. Keep your Destiny. He's going to now have to move someone. Move Darrow over or something. Oh, he just moves Fett. Why? Now he just gave him a free drain and he... I guess so that Jin can't suicide in, he'll be able to come back down next turn and battle into her again. I don't know. No, he moves P59. Okay. Let's see if Lightside has an answer for Chelly over at the JCC. If you can attack her with somebody who draws a Destiny, preferably an EPP. So right now, Silverglen is at 16 total hand and life, and he's about to take 5. So he will be down to 11 total, and Light is at 15 hand and life. And Luke will make it 16, and that Walkling will make it 17. So Dark or Light will be at 17 hand and life, and oh no, sorry, I mapped that wrong. Dark's at 16 just in life force, plus 4 is 20. Dark's at 20 minus 5, so he'll be at 15, and Light is at 16 right now. Yeah, did I math both those wrong? 8, 5, no, 16, and Luke will make it 17. So it'll be 17 to 15, and obviously Light doing way more damage. So Dark next turn will drain 3 and 1. So Dark will be doing 4 and retrieving 1 to Light's 5 and retrieving 1. And it costs the same amount. They both have to pay 6. So now the damage race is more even. Doing 4 and retrieving 1 versus 5 and retrieving 1. But Light's still ahead in hand and life and doing 1 more. There goes that artillery for the 3rd time. Or maybe there's 2 copies. We did see it get retrieved, but I don't remember if it was retrieved twice. Let's see, Udaguda solo from hand, and a Twi'lek from reserve. All right, ooh. So he's going Ahsoka there, which is a pretty cool move if he can kill her, which he should, unless Greedo comes down as a react and Light. Yeah, probably Greedo will react. Yeah, he was saving a Greedo also potentially for here to get a Destiny. Light is thinking, if I kill her, he's only on 1 battleground, and Simple Tricks kicks in to stop the JCC drain. Yeah, but if you think of Greedo, then you realize why that's not a great play, because now whatever you draw, someone is going to be left. Even if you draw higher than Greedo's for forfeit, he just loses Mara and leaves lone Greedo. You're going to have to peel to keep Ahsoka alive. Jane F says, feels like Yavin 4 Ops is one of the last decks I'd want to insert the giant liability the JCC is into. Yep, I can see that. And like I was saying earlier, I don't think it's worth the slots, but you could have always gone to the throne room or war room. Or Dark draws the 0 again. He's drawn that a lot of times, and it's a -1 with Ahsoka. So Light's outpowered by 1, and Dark's going to have to lose Mara. So Light should just peel 1 here. Obviously keep Ahsoka there. Now you're at a battleground site. You can drain free. You will be letting Silverglen battle into you, but he's only got 2 cards in hand. Oh, no. Silverglen, what are you doing? He lost Greedo and Mara, which he just doesn't want to get beat down. I guess the 2 cards in his hand are not very good, but that means now he can't drain at the JCC. All he can do is ping 1, drain 1, or drain 2. Either way, same difference. Actually, if you move Jin in front... Oh, he asked for a revert as soon as he lost Greedo. He's probably used to playing court where Greedo is forfeit +2, and he thought Greedo would cover, and so he lost Greedo and was like, oh crap, he doesn't cover. And so right after the battle, he asked for a revert, and Alex was nice enough to grant that. So he will just lose Mara, and then Greedo will still be alive there, which will let him pay to drain over here. Yeah, he said, need to lose the other guy. And Alex said, was wondering. Yeah, Yavin 4 Ops doesn't usually struggle for activation. I don't think so. I mean, like I said, I counted it earlier. Even if he took out the JCC, he's getting 13 plus whatever Dark gives him. So yeah, because he's getting 17 now. He had 18 with Walkling. -3 for the JCC is 15. -2 that Silverglen's giving him is 13. So JNAP says if you use Dodonna V, you could really have no liability sites because he could go there, and then you don't need to play the Boss Nass Chambers because he says Hark V is good and Overseer is a snub. Yeah, Hark V would be a 2-0 right now between those two, and if the passenger deck had been out, a 3-0. So you can play Hark to get more activation in Dodonna there, and then you don't have to play these other two sites, and then you don't have to play a bunch of Wisas and Speaks, and you can fit in an extra spin to get out that Hark Overseer, and yeah, I think that seems like a better plan. Bastion said he made a similar deck to Alex's about 2 years ago for the Euro NPC, was expecting to play Jimmy in round 3, and he was playing his Invasion deck that I thought I would steamroll with it, but the ground is just not good enough against many dark ground packages. Yeah, it's kind of just a mishmash of stuff. You end up with just kind of random guys that don't have a lot of synergy. They're not adding destinies. They're not like doing cool stuff together. It's just like, hey, I got an EPP and another guy. It's like, all right, that's cool, but it's not game winning, and so then you have to really be winning the game in space, which, to be fair, Alex is. That space damage is really adding up. If I were Alex here, I would be tracking a 5 and move Luke over there, and play Lego Wisa on Darkseid's turn, recirculate it, and then liberate this, because it's still only a drain of 2 and a drain of 2, but you get to stack a card, so it's 1 extra damage. So going over to liberate that at some point is good. Yeah. Bastion says you got the good guys, but no deck space for tricks, and Darkside ground tricks can just rip you a new one. Yeah, right. You've got the EPPs, but you didn't have room for a clash for them. You didn't have room for sorry about the mess. Yeah. Werf's had a Yops that was fairly balanced space and ground, but it's tough and card intensive. Yeah. Alex says, no worries, the difference of your team is too high even if I win that. Yeah, Silverglen said, man, I'm so not concentrating. Sort of just thought it was over. And just realized about 5 minutes ago that I have to win this. Sorry, team. That's okay. Even if you lose, MHT just has to not get blown out twice. Yeah. All right, so Silverglen is going to drain at the JCC. And Alex is making good moves, to be fair. So moving that Jin back, blocking the blaster damage, knowing that P59's not there to do damage. So you block the drain and the ping, so you're only going to eat 3 this turn instead of 4 if you didn't move her, +1 for P59. So Alex is making all the right plays. He's playing really well. He's looping that we're doomed. So he loses Red Squadron 1, Lando, and out of commission. Plays that we're doomed. Alex has 10 in life force and 1 in hand. So that's 11 total. Silverglen has 14 and 2 in hand. So 16 versus 11. Silverglen is up by 5. But next turn, he just retrieved 1. So now he's up by 6. But next turn, Light will even it up with... Oh, Jodo. The only reason you see Jodo is because you're playing hidden weapons. You have Django and Fett no matter what, but you only play Jodo in a deck pretty much. His if they drew more than 1 can cancel a Destiny text is cool, but it's probably not enough on his own to just play him in an alien deck. So generally, if you see him, you should be thinking hidden weapons. He plays Jabba's through with you to deploy a character weapon. Maybe just checking his destinies. He battles, and is he going to pay 2 for aim high? He does. So Dark gets... Oh, he's battling at the audience chamber. I was like, what's going on? Yeah, so Fett goes to shoot, and that is a hit, but it does not make forfeit 0. But I think we're going to see Solo use Hujix anyway. Yeah, Bastion and JNAP, good point. He will be good in the Shadow Collective deck because he can fire a rifle or blaster for free and add 2 to the total. So him with the stun blaster, and we did see Silverglen had that stun blaster in there for the extra you'll be dead damage that bounces guys back to hand. I haven't really seen that in a deck much, but with the Shadow Collective, I think we definitely will. I have seen Sabine and the light side one using the Mandalorian Mishap to upload a stun blaster and upload her, and her just firing that free and bouncing at a +3 is really strong. I mean, Master Luke bounce is strong, and that's a bounce at +3. So Dark draws what becomes a 6 with the spare, and or is it Corrin with Corrin? Yeah, Corrin, Frozen Corrin becomes a 6. Honor is drawn. Jin, it'll be Jin and 2 or Jin and the Hujix from Lost Pile. Might as well burn the Hujix now. I don't think there's if he had control or something in there for the JCC, then that would save him 3. But he opts to just save the 2 with Solo. He must not have any control tunnels in deck. This is going to come down to the wire, but if Light has 1 card in hand, if that one, well, he wants that card for 3POing, but if he can draw 1, he can just activate all but 1, play the 1 card in his hand, and then at the end of the turn draw it and 3PO into We're Doomed. If he has a character to deal with this JCC drain, Light has this locked up. And Silverglen has no cards in hand. So he's at 18 life force. He's going to take drains of 5. That'll put him at 13. And Alex is at 11, plus Luke will make it 12. So Dark is still slightly ahead. Light left 2 destinies. Maybe he wants to draw a battle destiny with Ahsoka and then 3PO into We're Doomed. But at that point, I would just draw the We're Doomed for destiny. And then, if you're not planning on any move phase moves, draw the We're Doomed for destiny, and then you recirculate and then 3PO into it on Darkseid's turn. And then you'd have 1 more force in your force pile, and you'd have a guaranteed 5, which will clear both of them, being forfeit 4 and 3. So, yeah, I would have activated 1 more. Luke retrieves the Jin. Let's see what this 1 card in hand is. It's Anakin. I would have gone with her to the JCC. Are you going to cause overflow here? You're 10 in a destiny. Yours is +1. There's -1. So essentially, let's say 12 versus there's 6. So you're up by 6, but they cover 7. So you have to outdraw, and I'm already counting the plus and minus in that. So you have to outdraw by 2 to get any overflow. I would have just dropped Anakin right there. Battle free. Your power 5 plus a destiny that's +1. And if you drew that We're Doomed, your power 11 to her 6. It's Aphra and 5. Here he's not going to cause any overflow. Over there he could have cleared Aphra and 5. I mean, I think he's trying to just take him off. Maybe he knows that's a 5, and he's just trying to take him off, or a 4 in Anakin Aslan. Take him off a site so that he does not have Simple Tricks covered, and then that stops a JCC drain. Yeah, it's Honor. Okay. Stops a JCC drain, and it stops the retrieval from the objective. So Anakin adds 1 to that. That makes it a 5. Greedo covers 4. Fett 3. He draws a 7, which Ahsoka makes a 6. Either of them will cover it. I think you lose Anakin because she obviously has higher. She's immune essentially less than 6 and him 4. And she's immune to weapons. So All right, both these guys die, which means Dark will only do a drain of 2, and then we're doomed, which he's about to 3PO4 as soon as he draws a card. We're doomed will stop the blaster ping. And Silverglen has nothing in hand. So he's just going to drain and draw. He said somewhere there's an IG-88. I hope so. Be a pretty big deck building error if not. Yeah, so Alex draws 1, 3POs into the we're doomed. And like I said, Justin has no 4, so he's going to pay 3. He's going to do 2 damage, and then he's going to draw. He's at 13 hand and life. He won't be able to retrieve. He'll lose another 5. That'll put him down to 8 versus 11 minus the 2 drain is 9, plus 1 for Luke is 10. So now Luke's... Oh, and a drain of 2 at the Carbonite Chamber. And they're all free now. So it's 7 damage of his 13. And with no cards in hand, he's not going to be able to get to a second Battleground for Simple Trick. So he's only going to do 2 this turn and 2 next turn. Yeah. Bastion won both of his games, and the second one his opponent conceded when Bastion still had 32, so they have huge diff. And Silverglen won the first game by like 17. So I don't know. I don't remember what the... But anyway, they have huge diff. So Alex won this. The third team member, I don't remember who it is on Alex's team. And Mighty Maul and... Is it CRG? Silverglen said, sorry, maybe baby is woken. It's good. That's okay. He has 15 more minutes already. He's got 30 on his clock to Alex's 15. Oh, he said, I've got a deal. Oh, he requested the action timer be disabled. Yeah. He has tons of time on his clock, so... Bastion won by 17 and 30. Justin won the first one by 26. So the match is over unless something very ridiculous happens. So yeah, because right now I think we can math out this game. It is dark side's control. He did You'll Be Dead for 1, and then we're doomed, and now he'll be able to drain for 1. So that will put light to 8. Then Dark has nothing else to do. They can't retrieve. They have no cards in hand. So Dark just draws. Light, he's at 10. Light does 7 of that and knocks him down to 3 again. He's at 8, and he'll be able to do 2 more with that final 3 force. So win by 5 for light side. Yeah, so it is CRG versus MHT, and they are going to play on Tuesday or Wednesday. He is out. Yeah, he's out hiking. He went out to the fjords in southern New Zealand. So that's got to be a good weekend for him. And so yeah, they'll play Tuesday around 9 o'clock Euro time, which is like 3 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know, maybe not with the time change, somewhere on there. I'm not making you jealous. I'm not hiking the fjords. It's MHT. Wait, Alex said, I wait here, no worries. This is my very last Star Wars CCG game, and I'm happy it was against you, my friend. I hope he doesn't mean like last. I hope he means in the tournament it's his last game. Yeah, Fjord versus Lockdown. Yeah, New Zealand kind of got their stuff together with that, huh? I'm a little jealous. So let's see. Yeah, CRG will have to beat MHG by a lot is the bottom line, but I hope they play it out because it's the VR format. I mean, I think we'll just see stuff like Legend and ROPS, but Yeah, we'll see. All right, so let's talk. We can talk more V13. Is there? Oh, Dylan says Alex wants to stop playing. I wonder why that is. That's a shame. I think a lot of us have stopped playing at one time or another and sort of drifted back at different times. I mean, Cryptophis is here saying, "Oh, why is he?" And he hasn't been around for a couple years. You know, life happens, life gets busy. Maybe you don't like the meta. Maybe whatever. You're not in a particular place to want to play the game at the moment. But that doesn't mean you will not be at some future point. So it sounds. Oh, he. Alex, are you watching the stream? He just typed in the chat. I love this game, but just don't have the time anymore with family and stuff. So this was a great last game. He must. Oh, he's telling Justin this. So this was a great last game, and the tournament was just great. Yeah, it's a family timing thing, and I totally get that. That's definitely a much higher priority than Star Wars card game. But you know, at some point, kids get older, and this game apparently never seems to die. You know, we're approaching what in 3 or 4 months we'll, or I guess a year and 3 or 4 months we will be at the 20-year anniversary of the formation of the PC. So yeah, I could see it going another 15 years. Like it. Ooh. Yoda says for V13 the images are quite nice. He's got the inside track on seeing those. I'm excited to see it. I love when the PDFs come out and you just look through and you're like, oh, that's so cool. That looks so cool. Like it's the graphics team does really awesome work. All right, so Silverglen just draws a bunch. He's back. He's looking for some kind of answer to do something, but he had 0 cards in hand, like I said. So Light's gonna drain 7, draw 1, and 3PO into that. We're doomed. Ah, you're prepping the PDF. So you've got the inside track because you're volunteering and helping. Well, thank you for doing that. That's awesome. My favorite image is The Rock and the new Smuggler Interrupt. What's the new Smuggler Interrupt? The Hans Dice one? Yeah, and Joe says again what I said to him. His kids grow and time will come. He hopefully comes back. Yeah. Ooh, he's all yours, Bounty Hunter. Just a cycle. Let's see. Yeah, I hope Alex does come back at some point. I've played a few games against him on Jump, and he's a good opponent. Light says, nah, I'm gonna grab that. Just does a damage. I think that'll put Silverglen below 3, so he won't be able to do another drain. Let's see, he's on the following turn. 11, 12, and he's taken 7. 12 minus 7 is 5. Oh, so yeah, either way, it didn't matter. John Michael says, Alex, you'll be missed, but I'll always save a spot for you. We'll call it a temporary break. So Alex drains 3 at Narshada. We'll see a drain of 2 and 2. Looks like he had insight to pull Honor in case there was Hunt Down. He also had Transterms in there, so he's definitely worried about Hunt Down. It's direct damage in that. Chris and his team hunts for the images. He's the best smuggler around. I don't know which Chris. Menzel? Gogolin? Worfs? Probably not Worfs. All right, so then Yavin 4 drain. He loses artillery for, what is that, like the 5th time artillery's been lost this game? And then a drain at the Carbonite Chamber, Stunning Leader and Stun Blaster go. So now he is down to 4 in life, Force 1 in hand. Once again, he won't be able to drain at the JCC. Alex draws 1, and he's going to 3PO into We're Doomed. So he will take 2 more damage. Yep, there's a 3PO. He's at 10. Minus 2 will be 8. I believe that is what we said. Yeah, you're on per. In the inaugural Jawa Cup, JM and Alex1 finished 3rd and 4th. That's awesome. The Jawa's been a really good format. Like, I like the idea of saying, all right, here's the top decks for both sides. Nah, you can't play them. You have to get a little more creative. You see decks that are sort of the 1.5 tier decks, and kind of more importantly, at least what I like even a little more about that than just not seeing the same things over and over, is that you don't necessarily know how a matchup will go. Like, we've all played, or most of us have played ISB versus Legend. We've played Court versus Legend. We played, like, we know how's ISB Throne Room go. Like we've played those matches, and so not only are we seeing them again, but we know how it will play out. Whereas when it's stuff like, CCT versus Yavin 4 operations, this is, I think CCT should be banned in general. There's the IG. Just as a moral victory, he plays the one IG in his hand rather than draining for 2. He's like, I'm just gonna show you. Silverglen says, just to prove he was in the deck. Alex says, I like it. That's funny. Khabib, UFC fighter, retired today. 29-0 win. So yeah, anyway, so you don't know how the matchups go in Jawa Cup. So when you're like, hey, I'm playing my Watcher Step versus Indoor Ops, it's like, okay, well, geez, I played that back in the day, and I know Indoor Ops flips and limits my destiny, so I need to spin and da-da-da. But you're trying to figure out how the match will go instead of, I've seen and played this 5 times recently. And that's the cool part of Jawa to me, is that you see different stuff, but you also have to figure out, how is this matchup going to go? What's my game plan? Instead of just implementing a game plan you've seen a lot. All right, Alex drains him out. Alex wins by 10, since Silverglen did not do that last drain of 2 instead of 8. It ended up being 10, so that can get recorded. And we'll what does that mean? Let's see. Someone wrote the diff in chat earlier. 17, 30, 26. So that's 73 minus the 10 here is 63. So CRG needs to win both games by 32 or some combination thereof to get to 64 or more. So blowouts by over 30 on each side by CRG will win the match. Otherwise, we're just kind of watching the VR for fun. So, cool. The Corona Cup was really fun. I like the idea of doing team events as different formats. Usually at tournaments, I don't necessarily play team events because I kind of get Star Wars burnt out with 8 games on the main day and then potentially a day in 3. So, but I like the spirit of team events a lot, and having this be different formats makes it a lot more interesting, I think. So the congratulations, I think, is probably not too premature. Pending any double 30 plus blowouts, MHT, Silverglen, and Bastion, very well played, gentlemen. I'm looking forward to seeing the VR match anyway on Tuesday, assuming they play that out. And yeah, cheers. Thanks for watching, everyone.